almost up. Here we are. Here we are. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's Black Elk Peak where I'm aiming this. Right along the ridge line of the Black Hills. There's like a little crest. That's Black Elk Peak, one of the best sites in South Dakota. Peaceful, beautiful. And that's what I was telling you about, those prayer cloths over there. Pretty sure I read a sign that you're supposed to stay on the path out of respect and reverence for the tribe. But you can view it from a distance. Think about the prayers that the people carry up this mountain for themselves and for their friends and loved ones. It's a sacred thing. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but I also want to be free, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful I get to walk in this land as a free American. So, Beowulf, like I said, I'll give you the stanzas. Hopefully I can set up and y'all can enjoy the view and enjoy the reading. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. All right. All right. So, my tribe, the Viking tribe of old, German, Alexander James Weiss. My great-great-great-great-grandpa Wilhelm was his name, from Germany. We came here in the late 1800s, 1880s, after the Civil War. We're looking for land to settle and to farm and to raise a family. But this tale, the story of Beowulf, has been forgotten by many of the white people in our land. They've forgotten their tribe, they've forgotten their culture. They live for vanity, they live for pleasure, they live for money. They live for a lot of things that tribal values don't stand for. So, here we go, back into the story. Stanzas 12 through hopefully 16 or so. This protector of warriors did not at all wish to let loose the Deathbringer while still alive, nor did he count Grendel's life days of value to anyone at all. There many a man of Beowulf's band eagerly brandished their ancient sword blades, wishing to protect the life of their lord, the widely famed chief, any way that they could. So, among Beowulf's followers, right, his loyal thanes, right, in a tribal culture, there's honor. These men were willing to protect their leader unto death. So it should show that among kin, you should be loyal to your family. While engaged in the fray, these brave-minded warriors sought to strike at the foe from every side, but could not figure how to hew Grendel down, how to seek out his soul. Nor might any war sword, nor the strongest of irons in all the earth, even touch to do harm to that evil destroyer. For Grendel wove spells round all human weapons, on all swords of victory. Yet severed from life, he was fated to feel misery at the end of his days. His time on the earth and the alien terror must now embark on a far journey into the power of fiends. Then that one found out, who so often before had wrought wicked evils, terrified the spirits of the race of men. He waged war against God. At this time, his fearsome strength would fail him. For his high-spirited foe, the kinsmen of Hygelac held him fast by the hand. Each hated the other, so Beowulf hated this giant, this demon giant, right? A half-breed of man and angels, right? The Thane of old hated the demon giant, and the demon giant hated him. Each hated the other. While they both lived, the dreaded demon suffered terrible torture as his shoulder tore open. Think about it. You could actually tear from somebody's arm. If you're strong enough, you could tear the bone from the socket. So imagine how powerful Beowulf was. To tear a giant's shoulder from his body. That's strength you don't see on YouTube. Like, let me see a YouTube video, seriously, of a dude ripping another dude's arm out of socket. Please. I mean, that sounds gruesome and terrible, but like, that's what we're reading about. Think about it. The dreaded demon suffered terrible torture as his shoulder tore open, a great wound gaping as sinew sprang apart, and the bone locks burst. To Beowulf then was glory given in battle. Sick unto death, Grendel could only flee to the fen slopes, seek his home without joy. He certainly knew that he had reached the length of his life, his number of days. But for all of the Danes, joy was renewed after the onslaught of death. The hero from afar, the kinsman of Hygelac, shrewd and strong-hearted, cleansed Hrothgar's hall, saved it from sorrow. He rejoiced in his night work, a champion's great deeds. The prince of the Geats had fulfilled his boast to the folk of the East Danes, had completely relieved them from heaviness of heart. It's like being able to breathe again. Think about it. When there's an evil plaguing your people, when there's a demon that's suffering your whole kingdom or your whole tribe to be in anguish, for a hero to release the evil, it's like a breath of fresh air. A lot of people need that. A lot of people need that breath of fresh air in their soul. They're facing demons that cannot be seen. Back in the day, these demons could be. They were in the form of giants. Now you're fighting demons you can't even see. I know the temptations. I know all the stuff that's online. I'm not foreign to it. But Beowulf and Jesus are your creator, right? That he can deliver you from the tyranny of the foe. He can give you a breath of fresh air. You can breathe. You're free. The prince of the Geats had fulfilled his boast to the folk of the East Danes, had completely relieved them from heaviness of heart, from sorrow caused by evils that they long endured, from the horrible menace they were forced to suffer, from no little affliction. That was a true trophy, which the battle-brave Beowulf, right? Poetry. Battle-brave Beowulf. The battle-brave Beowulf set down before them. Think about putting, right, just like David with the head of the giant, put it before Saul. Imagine Beowulf to the Viking clan putting the arm, socket, the whole socket and arm of the giant before the people, the king, right? It would be like a great trophy. I ripped the giant's shoulder from its socket. Under the hall roof, the hand, arm, and shoulder, with Grendel's claw, all connected together. Stanza 12. Then in the morning, as I have heard, in the gift hall many a warrior gathered, the chiefs of the folk, from near and from far, Traveled the wide roads to look on the wonder. Traveled the wide roads to look on the wonder. The tracks of the demon. Nor did it occur to any of the warriors who saw those steps that they should grieve for this one without glory. How weary in spirit he went on his way, beaten in battle, put to flight by fate, left a trail of lifeblood to the mere of monsters. There with blood the water was welling, horrid surging of waves, all swirling together, heated with gore and gushing battle blood. The one doomed to die without any joy sought to hide in the fens and laid down his life. The soul of a heathen to be taken by hell. From that awful scene went the old retainers, joined by the youths, all joyful together. High-spirited men rode horses from the mere. Bold on their mounts, there was Beowulf's glory proclaimed. Many a man often declared that in the north or the south, between the two seas, throughout the whole earth, under expanse of the sky, there was no one better among shield-bearing men, no greater warrior, more worthy of a kingdom. No greater warrior, more worthy of a kingdom. Yet they found no blame in their own friendly lord, their gracious Hrothgar. For he was a good king. At times, the bold ones let their steeds leap forward, urged their glossy horses to compete in contests. Over ground they found fitting for holding the races. Over ground they found fitting for holding the races, known as good tracks. Also there was a thane, well loaded with words and filled with old tales, who had a great store of traditional stories in memory retained. So I wanted to, I like being friends, right? You're my friend. Whoever you are, you're my friend. And I was thinking as I was sharing this video, there's a football story I have that's so good. It kind of reminds me of this story a little bit as well. I want to ask you a question. What's your favorite sports story? Your personal one. You got any good ones? So when I was in, I think 7th or 8th grade, I had these two coaches, right? Jeremy Bramby and his dad, Coach Bramby, right? He's kind of old school football coach, right? And his son played for the Gophers, was a wide receiver, right? And let me tell you this story. Hopefully I'll keep it brief, like 2 minutes maybe. So the reason I laugh about it now, it's like, dude, I learned something from it. So we were playing this team, I think it was Woodbury, back when we were in 8th grade. And we had some buddies on Hastings football team join our team, right? We just got dominated. I mean, we got it seemed like we were getting our asses just beat. You know what I mean? Like we were getting a spanking, you know what I mean? Like it did not feel good. For real, we had, I think it was 4 or 5 touchdowns scored on us in the first half, and we had nothing. And we get over at halftime, he puts us in the corner, Coach Bramby. And I don't agree with this, the way, speech is not a good thing if you're vulgar with it, right? Bramby was just cursing at us, cuss word after cuss word. It's like, if I was your parents, I'd be blinking, embarrassed. Just going crazy at us, right? And we're like puppy dogs, with our tails tucked. It's like, you're right. Like we're getting beat up. Like, what do we do? And honestly, him getting all angry, but like, I mean, I wish he should have kept it PG-13, but he didn't. He's like, you're just going all mad at us, right? And it like inspired us. Like, it inspired me. I was like, dude, we gotta wake up. Like, we are better than this. Like, we gotta fight. Come on. Like, somebody's gotta rally the troops, right? And second half, right? After he gets done just kind of embarrassing us and himself in the process in front of our whole parents, right? We started to make a comeback. Like, we start scoring and scoring and scoring. Our defense stops them and stops them and stops them. And we get down to the last play, right? Like, we need a touchdown to win. If we get it on this play, we win it. If we don't, we don't. And I remember, right, the anger of Coach Branby at halftime and the look on his face, like just the utter disappointment in his guys as his students, right, his team. And then I remember, right, the belief. I could see the belief in Jeremy's eyes when he came out, ran on the field, and told me, Weiss, 58 motion long. 58 motion long. Don't mess this up. Logan Liefeld motions to the right, does a flat, and then he goes long. I step back, pump fake to the outside, and catches it. Touchdown. Touchdown, right? Touchdown. We win the game on the last play, no time left. And we go back to the same spot. The same spot Branby cussed us out at on halftime. And he gives us this look of a smile, like it's like, you guys, I'm speechless. Like, didn't hear a swear word out of his mouth in the second half, like, of that game. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can go from being down so much to like, how'd you even just do that? We came back from like 5 touchdowns down and won it at the last second, like the last play. Like, you might feel like you're down and out right now. You might feel like I did in the first half of that game in your soul right now. But it can get turned around just like that. For you, for me, for Coach Branby, for our whole team, you go from looking like puppy dogs pouting to like, woo! Yeah! Yes! Think about it. Game-winning touchdown. How would you feel? Woo! Yeah! You know what I'm saying? That was fun. So, what's your sports story? Like, that's what I wanted to share with the world. So, let's go! As the Vikings would say, school! School! But I like the Packers. And the Vikings. I'm a loyal Packer fan. Loyal man. All right, back to the story. Let me know what your favorite sports story is. That would be awesome. Coach Brandy. I love him. Hope I see him again one day. That was a great story. For real. Like, life lesson learned. Never, ever, ever give up. Believe, and you will achieve victory. And you'll have that feeling of, woo! Yeah! Yes! You know? You'll have that feeling if you don't give up. All right, so back to it. At times, the bold ones let their steeds leap forward, urged their glossy horses to compete in contests over ground they found fitting for holding the races, known as good tracks. Also, there was a thane, well loaded with words and filled with old tales, who had a great store of traditional stories, in memory retained, yet could make a new tale based on true new events. And so he began to sing with skill of Beowulf's adventure, and with masterful talent to perform his tale. In words well woven, he related all things he had ever heard told of the legendary deeds of Sigmund, many stories till now unsung, the fights of Wales' sons, his far journeys, the feuds and wickedness that were not well known to the sons of men. Yet Sigmund would tell somewhat of these things to Fitela by his side, uncle to nephew, as comrades in crisis, ever faithful together in fights against foes, having laid low having laid low a great many of the kin of giants with their strong swords. So many of the kin of giants. The Norse fought many of the kin of giants. So the fame of Sigmund spread far and wide after his death day, since the battle-bold hero defeated the dragon, the guard of a horde. Now, Greek word drakon, right? Some people think fire-breathing dragon, and that very well may be. But drakon, the Greek word drakon, right? It could be a huge, giant, dinosaur-like creature. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a fire-breather. So, yeah, and there's plenty of evidence. You can look in my Facebook picture. Plenty of evidence that those things walked this earth at one time. I personally think they walked with man. Now, atheists and scientists and agnostics will debate me on that, and I will try and do so out of love and respect. But yeah, I think that dinosaurs and man, Adam, and all creatures walked this earth together at one time. And I'm telling you what, me and my bros and all my football team were hunting T-Rex or Allosaurus. I'd want about 15 of them with a bow and arrow ready to kill that thing. Because even if you got 15 warriors hunting a T-Rex, there still could be casualties. And I don't want my brothers getting eaten. So just think about it, right? You need about 15 at least good shooters, good marksmen to take out one of them things. You have to hit them in the eyes, the throat, and the heart. All got to aim simultaneously. Otherwise, you're in for one, I don't want to say hell of a fight, but one fight for sure. Fight for your soul. So, yeah. Well, since the battle-bold hero defeated the dragon, the guards of a horde, under gray rocks, this son of a chieftain took his chances alone. A daring deed, nor was Fitela then with him. Yet to him it was given to stab with his sword through the wondrous dragon, clear into the wall where the iron stuck. Thus the dragon slain, thus was the dragon slain. The warrior won the prize by his boldness, so he now could enjoy the hoard of treasures, however he wished. How would you spend $1 million? How would you spend $1 billion? What would you do if you had the wealth of the nations? Let me ask you that question. Don't love money, love God. God's greater than money. He has all of it. He makes Bill Gates and the dude that turned Twitter to X, he makes their riches look pathetic. I was talking about heaven earlier. Can you imagine a place that's founded with rarest jewels on earth? That's as wide, right? When I get up here and I look at this place, right? You can see about 50 miles that way, maybe about 35 that way, 50, right? I know this from the Bible, right? From Revelation. If you were to put the New Jerusalem, the capital city of heaven in our country, it would go from Chicago all the way to Salt Lake City. And it would go from the Canadian border all the way to the Mexican border. And the streets are paved with gold, people. Gold. Gold, people. Gold. This isn't even gold. These are just images. Gold. Who would not want to go to heaven? It's better than going on a Caribbean cruise, dude. Imagine driving your Mercedes on gold streets everywhere you go. Dude, the walls, right, are about as thick as a football field. Made of pure jasper, red, gold, light. The sun, right? The sun barely can be compared to the light and glory of the kingdom of heaven. God is the light of it, and it's a wonderful jewel. So yeah, repent and believe in Jesus. Go to heaven. A lot of people that hate God, they'll tell you to go to hell. I'll tell them, go to heaven. I hope you go to heaven. And if you got haters, dude, I got barely anybody on this channel right now as I'm doing this. If I got haters in the future, I just want to let you know right now, before all the what do they call it? Doom scrolling, trolling Twitter star trolls, internet trolls, and all that stuff. I love you guys. I really do. Like, I want you in heaven. God wants you in heaven too. He doesn't want any to perish. He actually wants the demons that I'm talking about, the demons and Satan in hell, but he doesn't want any person, human being, with flesh and blood to perish. So I love y'all, even my enemies. You hear it here? Yet to him it was given to stab with his sword through the wondrous dragon clear into the wall, where the iron stuck. Thus was the dragon slain. The warrior won the prize by his boldness, so he now could enjoy the hoard of treasures, however he wished. And if I get to have a lot of money one day, here's my goals, folks. From the top of Bear Butte, you heard it first here. I would like to build a castle in Minnesota. Minnesota Boulder Castle. I'd like to make peace with the Russians by buying 25 Siberian tigers, 5 males, 20 females, and I want to release them wild into Alaska, right? Hence the tiger shirt. You've probably seen the back of it in other videos, right? I love tigers. I love them. They're awesome kitties. And if you hate me for it, boo to you. But yeah, I'd like to build a castle near the Mississippi River on a wonderful, wonderful view. I'd like to make it like a Viking themed chamber, just like in Beowulf, so that eventually, if the Vikings ever do win a Super Bowl in our lifetime, we can have a place to celebrate it for years to come. And yeah, invite Native Americans there too, make friends with my buddies from powwows that I've been to. And yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to buy tigers from the Russians, make peace with them, and I'd like to build a castle in Minnesota, and then use a lot of other money for people that are in really, really bad situations, tough situations, people that are way poorer than Americans. If you had the wealth of nations, what would you do with it? How would you help people? Would you just keep it all to yourself? Spend it on luxurious homes in distant lands? Or do you try and give back to the people? I'd like to try and give back to the people. I think that there's a lot of people that could use money for a lot of things that are better than what the super elite, wealthy, rich people are using it for in our country right now. So we'll see. Those are two things. Those are kind of big dreams, big goals. And we'll see if the Lord blesses me with wealth one day to accomplish those things. And then to do a lot of good for the poor, for the real poor in our world. You know, outside of America, people live on less than $2 a day. Dude, you can barely get a Big Mac for that price, man. You know how good those things are, right? Who's my fat friends out there? Like, I know, bro, I'm self-disciplined, but McDonald's knows how to make it. McDonald's, Burger King, Culver's, the land where I'm from, cheeseburgers that'll make your mouth water. Huh? Yeah. You know it, too. When I eat, bro, I thank God for that taste. Oh, Culver's cheeseburgers. Wow. Yeah, I want to help people. I want to help feed people wonderful food, right? I don't want people starving in Africa. I don't want people starving in China. I don't want people starving in India or the Middle East. I want to make peace with the Middle East. I want to make peace with Muslims. I want to make peace with Muslims. So, yeah. What would you do with the wealth of nations? It's a good thing to ask yourself. The son of the whales then loaded the sea boat, bore to the ship's bosom the shining wealth, while the dragon melted in flames. He was by far the most famous of heroes among all the nations for his noble deeds. A great hero in northern European legends was the son of Wales. A protector of warriors, for that he prospered, outshining Heremod, whose glory grew less. In strength and bravery, Heremod was betrayed while among the Jutes into the power of enemies and quickly slain. The surgings of sorrow had long made him weaker among his warriors, as he had become the source of their suffering. So, if you're not a good warrior, it's going to lead to suffering for your people. If you are a good warrior, it's going to lead to their prosperity, their longevity, and their peace. For often before in earlier times, many a wise man, bemoaned the course of that strong-minded king, had trusted in him as their relief from torments, that he as their prince would have favor of fortune, to follow his father as king over the people, holding treasure and stronghold in the land of heroes, the home of the Scyldings. In contrast to him, Beowulf became to the Danes and all mankind a far greater friend. Imagine that. Imagine being a friend to all mankind. Not just one group of people, but all people. Imagine being a friend to all mankind. That's what the Almighty created us for, to be friends with everyone. While Heremon waited in evil. So if you choose the path of evil, you're going to find yourself being alone and probably one day in hell. If you choose the path of good, you'll probably find yourself blessed with lots of friends and headed towards the great eternity. Many people call it heaven. Some people call it Elysium. Some people call it other things. Yeah, I'm headed to heaven because I believe in Jesus. At times, retainers competed by racing with horses along that dirt road, well beyond dawn. The morning light had hastened forward, and many strong-minded men proceeded onward to reach the high hall, to see the curious wonder, and the king himself, the guardian of treasures, great in his glory, and famed for his bounty, walked from his wife's chamber with his band of warriors. And with him, his queen went to the mead hall with her own troop of maidens. I think I want to stop there for now. We can do more later. But those are good thoughts, good things to ponder on. And so yeah, what we're at 14. I want to save more video time for the powwow tonight because I'm telling y'all, Native American culture is awesome. Truly awesome, and y'all are gonna hopefully see it. Let's get one more good view of this whole land. Thank you, Lord, for your peace. If I could make poetry, spoken word poetry right now about what I see, it would sound like a song. Peace.